Carry on shouting.
Government guidelines aren't law.
Carry on shouting at me, and I'll deal with you a different offence.
No, so you're threatening me. You're threatening me again, are you? I've already told you I'm deaf in one ear and I talk loud. I'm not shouting at you. This is recorded. Right. You're breaking the law. Now leave us alone. Leave us alone, or we will prosecute you in a court of law. We'll prosecute you in law. No, you're abusing your authority at the moment. You have no authority to challenge anyone in the street. No, I'm not. You have no authority to challenge us in the street. You have no authority to challenge us in the street. You have no authority to challenge anybody in the street. I'm just recording you because I'm getting your face and your number as well.
You said you don't want to talk to me. So
as he says, where's your number? Is he not allowed to defend his number? I'm just getting numbers for the video.
So you just watched the video back of what you've recorded?
Yep, I have.
How do the police make you feel?
Intimidated, harassed, vulnerable, like a criminal when I'm not committing any criminal offences. Yeah, I felt quite shocked and embarrassed for the police officer and threatened by him, to be honest.
Today in Sheffield, January 30th, 2021. Two people at Loggerheads, should I say. Yeah, turned out to be an interesting day. But I missed the video recording of the event because I didn't expect anything to happen. So, although I didn't capture it on my camera, this person did.
Government guidelines, acts and statutes are not laws, right? They're not enforceable by anyone, not the police, not anyone. That's why everybody who challenges these illegal and unlawful restrictions in court, right, wins the case in court, right? We are free people in a free country, all right? We are part of our constitutional rights in this country, which is constitutional law, which is the law of the land of this country. We are allowed to be out and about as and when we feel like it, right? There's no evidence whatsoever that this COVID-19 exists. The government have clearly said it's never been isolated. They don't know how it exists. Medical boards up and down the country have also turned around and said, under freedom of information request, there is no evidence of this so-called virus existing. We do not need a reason to be out. We are free people in a free country. Government guidelines, government wishes are not law. They're not law. You as police us by our consent, and you're only allowed by law to challenge people for criminal offences and committing criminal offences. None of these guidelines or these acts and statutes are committing criminal offences. We don't have to talk to you. We don't have to speak to you. Unless we committed a crime or you expect us to committing an actual crime, you have no business talking to us and you're not legally allowed to challenge us in the street. It's as simple as that. We don't need an excuse to be out, but a lot of people are out having exercise and we're entitled to have as much exercise as we want in the free country, in the free world, breathing fresh air. And if you do try and arrest me or arrest anybody in this party as well, we all stand under common law, right? And not only will we prosecute you in court under your personal liability for false arrest and harassment, right, personally, and this policeman if he gets involved as well, we'll also prosecute the police force, the South Yorkshire Police Force. All right, because by law, there's no law that says we cannot be out where we want, however many times we want to be out. And that's the law. You are not allowed to enforce anything other than criminal offences, crimes, suspected crimes. Nobody here is committing any crime.
Finish shouting at me?
I'm not shouting it, I'm just saying.
Clearly are.
No, I'm not shouting it. Well, I'm recording it, I'm not shouting it.
You are clearly shouting.
No, I'm not, I'm just explaining. I'm just explaining. Are you standing under your office that you took some police officers today?
Are you going to let me talk?
Yeah, I'll let you talk, yeah.
Let me talk.
Yeah.
Just explain to me again why you're carrying shouting at me.
I'm not shouting at you.
You did?
Well, actually, I actually talk loud because I'm deaf in one ear.
Right. Can I just ask you, what did I say at the very beginning?
What?
What did I say at the very beginning?
I can't remember what you said at the very beginning.
Because you just came across shouting at me.
I did come across shouting at you.
All I said was, I take it that you've got reasonable excuse.
We don't need a reasonable excuse. We do not need a reasonable excuse to be out in a free country.
That is all I said.
We do not need a reasonable excuse to be out in this country. Government guidelines, wishes are not law.
Right. So under the current coronavirus regulations, you'll understand that you do need
they're not law. They're not law.
At the moment, because we are currently in a lockdown, so you'll understand.
They're not law.
Yeah.
They're not law.
Right.
And they will be challenged in court, and we will win in court.
Listen.
I don't need to listen.
I'm not here to argue with you.
I don't have to speak to you as a police. I'm not committing a crime. Right, okay, right. Am I under arrest?
You came and shouted.
Am I under arrest?
I didn't even speak to
you. Do you suspect me? Do you suspect me of committing a crime?
I do at the moment.
What a crime? What crime?
I suspect you.
What crime?
To be breaching the lockdown and the current regulations.
The lockdown rules are not a crime. It's not. Guidelines are not law. If you're standing here under your office as a police officer today, you'll know you're not allowed to harass people in the street.
You understand about Acts of Parliament, don't you? So you understand that...
Acts and statutes aren't law, they need the consent of the people.
That it's an Act of Parliament.
Acts and statutes need the consent of the people.
Listen. I am not arguing with you.
Well, you are.
I'm not arguing
You are.
with you.
Right, if you're standing under oath as a police officer, you're not allowed to harass us in the street, so kind of leave us alone. No, you're not.
I'm going to tell you, please get this on camera.
I'm getting it on camera.
Because everybody else, all I've done is just came and said, you understand.
You're illegally harassing people in the street.
Again, you came and shouted.
You're illegally harassing people in the street, trying to enforce guidelines and wishes of the government, which are not law.
What will happen is, obviously, you clearly are in breach of the guidelines.
No, we're not.
So, and I have actually got a power to disperse you and tell you to go home.
And we'll challenge you in court.
And if you don't go home, then you may be in breach.
Right, well, we'll challenge you in court.
So
we'll challenge you in court.
Since I am speaking to you, right, I am going to tell you and I'm going to give you a direction to leave.
No, right? I'm not leaving. I'm a free person because I do not have to leave. And you have no authority to remove me from the street. No, you don't. No, you don't.
And I also have an authority to remove you and take you home.
No, you don't.
Under that current power.
No, you don't.
Well, I'll go away and you read it. And
I don't need to read it. Government guidelines
are
not law.
When I come back, I will consider what we do next.
Right.
But
are you threatening me? Are you threatening me in the street? Are you threatening me in the street? Right. Listen, we are not committing any crime.
In a second, if you keep threatening me,
I'm not threatening you. Well, you're threatening me. You're threatening me.
You're the one who's shouting.
You're in my space. Will you get 2 minutes away from me, please? Thank you.
You said you didn't believe in it.
Well, if you're violating guidelines, step away from me.
Right.
Guidelines, wishes are not law.
I'm specifically directing you to go home.
No, we won't. No, we're not going.
All these people who seem to make it illegal.
No, you're illegally harassing people in the street.
I'm not.
You have no authority to do that. You're there to prevent crime. There's no crime being committed. Guidelines, acts and statutes are not law. Acts and statutes require the consent of the people. That's the simple fact of the law.
What I actually said was, if you've got reasonable excuses to be out, fair enough. We believe that you haven't, because we understand why you're here. We've come to just speak to you about the matter. We're going to go away.
You're illegally harassing people in the street.
Clearly you want to be directed.
I'll challenge you in court. I'll challenge you in court, and I'll challenge you under personal liability as well. And you'll be sued. You'll be sued. Don't care. I know the law.
You're in a lockdown.
I know the law. Guidelines are not law. They're not law.
In breach of the current lockdown.
It's not law.
So I'm telling you, really, you ought to not go.
No, it's not law.
Right?
It's not law.
There are people on today to come and deal with this.
It's not law. Well, that's fine.
So,
if you arrest anybody, we'll challenge it in court and we'll win. And then you'll lose your job. You'll lose your job for abusing your police powers, which you haven't got. Guidelines, acts and statutes, government wishes are not law. Ex-Lord Justice Chief Jonathan Sumption has turned around and said this. Everyone who challenges these guidelines in court wins. You are illegally harassing people in a free country. That's the end of the story. Right.
So you've got it recorded.
I've got it all recorded. You've not got the authority to direct anybody to go home. We're not committing a crime. We're not committing any crime. We're not committing any crime. We all stand under common law. And you police us by our consent.
I take it you've read about common law as well.
Yeah, I know all about common law, mate. Yeah, I do. I know the law, which you don't. You clearly don't know the law.
Again, just while I go away, can you make sure you read that?
I don't need to read anything. I know the law. I know that government guidelines aren't law.
Come back and deal with you for the offence.
Are you threatening me? You're threatening to deal with for offence of what? I'm not committing a criminal offence.
I'm not threatening to do.
You're threatening to deal with me for an offence. I am not committing an offence. You haven't got the authority to direct people to go home.
How am I supposed to talk to you if you keep shouting at me?
I'm not shouting at you.
Every time I speak,
I'm not shouting at you. Listen, this is being recorded. I'm not shouting at anybody. I've already told them definitely one here. That's why I talk loud. Listen, I'm not arguing. Listen, I'm not arguing with you. You're no authority over us, right? You police us by our consent, right? And you police at this moment in time are breaking the law by illegally, unlawfully harassing people who are legally entitled to walk down the street. Our constitutional rights in this country, which is the law of this country, under the Magna Carta as well, we can do what we want when we want. We are not prisoners who've committed crimes who are in jail. We are free people in a free country. Government guidelines are not law. They're not law.
Can I just say one more thing before
you can say what you want, because it doesn't matter to me, because you're acting illegally and lawfully harassing us in the street.
It's really difficult for you to understand.
I don't need to understand to know the law.
Yeah, but it's really difficult to understand if you don't listen to me, just keep talking over me.
I know the law, so I don't need to listen to you. I don't have to talk to you by law. I can turn around and walk away from you without talking to you.
Doing it again, talking over me.
No, I'm explaining why I don't have to talk to you.
Just make sure that you understand what I'm telling you.
So
that when we come back,
you have no authority to tell me anything.
If we come back and deal with this, I want to make sure that you understand what I've told you.
They're trying to enforce illegal and lawful guidelines that aren't law?
I'm directing you to leave.
You've no authority to direct us to leave. We're not committing any crime.
I'm directing you to leave.
No, we're not committing any crime.
If you refuse to leave, then you
we are not committing any crime. No, we're not. No, we're not.
What I'm trying to explain to you, while you keep shouting over me, is I'm giving you an option to go. If you don't go, then that is.
No, you're trying to threaten us with laws that don't exist. We are not committing, any of us here, nobody here is committing a criminal offence. That's the law. You are only entitled to arrest people for committing criminal offences, otherwise you're in breach of your police authority. Your police are by our consent. You have no authority of any living man or woman here. You're the same as us, you're just in a uniform. And we are doing what we are entitled to do, breathe fresh air, do our exercise, which the guidelines say we can do. You have no authority to tell us where we can and do our exercise.
You don't seem to be doing any exercise.
Yes, we are. We're walking around. It's nothing to do how we do our exercise. It's exercise that's allowed by law. At the end of the day, government guidelines aren't law. And you're illegally harassing people. And you don't think you can threaten me and scare me because you don't scare me because I know the law.
I'm not,
Your threats are on here. Your threats are on here.
let me explain something.
Your threats are on here.
Explain to something,
Right, I'm going to end this conversation. I don't have to talk to you. I don't have to talk to you.
I have directed you to leave.
You have no authority to direct us. You have no authority to direct us to leave.
I am.
No, you haven't. The guidelines are not law.
Carry on shouting.
Government guidelines aren't law.
Carry on shouting at me, and I'll deal with you a different offence.
No, so you're threatening me. You're threatening me again, are you? I've already told you I'm definitely here and I talk loud. I'm not shouting at you. This is recorded. Right. You're breaking the law. Now leave us alone. Leave us alone, or we will prosecute you in a court of law. We'll prosecute you in law. No, you're abusing your authority at the moment. You have no authority to challenge anyone in the street. No, I'm not. You have no authority to challenge us in the street. You have no authority to challenge us in the street. You have no authority to challenge anybody in the street. I'm just recording you because I'm getting your face and your number as well.
You said you don't want to talk to me. So
as he says, where's your number? Is he not legally allowed to defend his number? I'm just getting your numbers for the video. Like I say, if you come back and you do try and arrest us, we'll prosecute you in court for illegal and lawful arrest. Because government guidelines aren't law. And you don't have the authority to tell anyone to do anything.
Right. On time target, we just came to talk to you. We know why you're here. You've got reasonable excuses to get exercise, that's fair enough. We believe that you're here. You're not having an excuse. I would actually ask you all to leave. Direct you to go home. If you don't, we may have to come back and deal with you. So please make sure it's on camera.
It is on camera, yeah.
But I've told everybody who has stood here, you are clearly here when you shouldn't be. You want to go and do some exercise, please feel free.
There's no law that says we can't be here.
Keep shouting at us.
There's no law that says we can't be here. We are entitled to be where we want.
You're on the street.
Yeah, so are you. You're recorded, mate. You lose your job. You carry on. You carry on. Threatening people doesn't work.
So you just watched the video back of what you've recorded.
Yep, I have.
How did the police make you feel?
Intimidated, harassed, vulnerable, like a criminal when I'm not committing any criminal offences. Yeah, I felt quite shocked and embarrassed for the police officer and threatened by him, to be honest.
Sorry, I couldn't hear you, sorry.
I've obviously seen you at a lot of gatherings, peaceful gatherings. It's not the first time you've had interaction with the police, is it?
No, it's not, no. Normally when I quote the law to him and the fact that the government guidelines and the government wishes and advice isn't law, they usually leave us alone because they know I know a bit about the law. But this man was rather aggressive, as you've seen when you were there at the event. He came right into my face, breaching the 2 metre mark in an aggressive manner. He accused me of shouting at him when I wasn't shouting at him. As I said to him on the video several times, the reason why I talk loud is because I'm deaf in one ear. That's a medical problem that I've got, and when I explained the fact that I'm deaf in one ear and I wasn't shouting at him, he just wasn't interested in hearing what I was saying to him.
Is it possible that you might have been a little bit louder because of the way you were felt by the police officer?
Well, I don't know. I talk loud anyway, as you know, due to being deaf in one ear. And I don't think I talked any different to how I normally talk. Now, the fact of the matter is, when a police officer who's trying to harass me for breaking no law and steps into my space quite aggressively and in an intimidating manner, I don't appreciate it. You know what I mean? As you saw in the video, I had to ask him to step back, because he was literally right in my face, not adhering to the so-called guidelines himself.
Interesting, and when we asked the group to disperse under the current regulations, that they've gone. So it's nice that they have done.
Do you know what? I'm starting to feel completely victimised by the police, and it's not a nice feeling. You know what I mean? The regional authority, left, right, and centre, trying to enforce laws that don't exist, making peaceful, you know, human beings who are not committing any crimes or committing any offence feel like, you know, like the disgraceful beings just for being out in the fresh air, trying to get some, you know, fresh air and exercise and stuff like that. And it's an absolute disgrace, to be honest.
I wasn't expecting any interactions today because it'd been a strange day, I thought, so I didn't have my camera recording, and I missed a lot of that. But I noticed the gentleman was actually recording his interaction.
To be fair, I didn't actually. I only asked if people had got a reasonable excuse to be out, and then he, as you saw, he was the one who came up shouting. We were just all we did was come across to say hello and remind people that there's no exemption for protesting.
Yeah,
but anyway,
a lot of people are paranoid with the police and the way they've been conducting themselves in London, for instance. I mean, I know Met Police are a different kettle of fish.
Mark, you've been here for long enough now. We're not the Met Police, and I think we've taken the neighbourhood policing approach, and that's to come and talk to you.
As you know, I've been to many peaceful gatherings all over the country: London, Brighton, Birmingham, you know, Manchester, Liverpool. You know what I mean? And obviously around South Yorkshire and stuff like that. And we're legally entitled to peaceful gatherings. You know what I mean? Part of our constitutional rights in this country is our legal right to protest. You know what I mean? And the police at these, they've got a bit of power. They've gone on a little bit of a power trip because they've been given authorities that they're not legally entitled to have anyway, to harass people for just walking down the street minding their own business. There's no laws that say you can't walk down the street minding your own business. These guidelines, these government advice and wishes are exactly that. The government say themselves in their interviews. The government advice, the government wishes, the government guidelines are. Not the law is. You know what I mean? The law isn't any of it. None of it is law.
Any action that we've taken has been because people have refused to listen to what we've said. But obviously, as you can see there, that having asked people to go home and people have gone.
Yeah, some people have actually gone when you mentioned what you wanted to say. I mean, it's always going to be a controversial situation.
That's all we've come across. Well, it's not confrontational.
No, sorry, it's always going to be controversial. Sorry, it's always going to be controversial with the police, the way the Tier 4 and the police in South Yorkshire is going on. I find South Yorkshire pretty relaxed compared to some police forces.
I say it's not necessarily relaxed. It's the fact it's the approach that we're taking in terms of how to deal with it. So the way I'm trying to, like I said, is this the neighbourhood policing that style, the sort of like the engagement style. You know, we haven't got people here in riot gear, have we? And you know, dragging people, because it's not. People need to understand that obviously we are in a current lockdown, and if you are out without a reasonable excuse, then you know that's people commit that offence, whether you agree with it or not. You know, we're not here to argue about that. We're just here to remind people that we are in a lockdown. So
I'm just sick of the police abusing authority all over the country. As you know, you've seen videos of peaceful protesters being thrown down, manhandled by the police and attacked, physically attacked. Many videos have been taken off social media. One in London of 5 policemen attacking a man on the ground who was defenceless and unconscious, and they were still punching him in the head like he was, you know, like. I can't describe it. The video was taken down from social media because it had millions of views. But the way the police, the guy was unconscious, and the police were like a pack of animals over him, attacking him physically, which is against law anyway. And they're getting away with this stuff.
Is this the Met Police?
The police in Manchester and the police in London.
Oh, the GMP.
Yeah, the GMP in Manchester. They did it in Manchester. There was a video, and the one in Manchester. There was a man and his wife, a bodybuilder and his wife, walking down the street minding their own business. And the police chased them down the street and physically attacked the bodybuilder for no reason. They explained they were walking down the street, you know, just not committing any crime, not doing anything. And the police attacked him and arrested him anyway.
Was that one in Liverpool?
That was in Liverpool, that was in Liverpool. And then the one in Manchester, a man in his late 40s, early 50s, I think he was thrown to the ground by the police like he was, you know, some sort of terrorist. And they jumped on top of him, pinning him down, and 4 police were attacking him. And one policeman in Manchester actually came from about 5 yards away, or 10 yards, whatever it is. I don't know how far 10 yards is, to be honest, at the moment, because I'm a bit shaken with what's happened today. But my point is, the guy, another police officer, came in to join in with the 4 police that were brutally attacking this guy and punching the hell out of his head when he was unconscious anyway. And in London, they're attacking the police. I've seen pictures, I've actually seen people being thrown down on the floor, hit on the head with truncheons, with the head cut open by the police, for walking down the street minding their own business. not breaking any law. It's a disgrace. The police in this country are on a mad power trip, and they think they can get away with this stuff because nobody's prosecuting them. The police are the government's lapdogs, and they're like a bunch of wild animals, and they're actually getting away with assault, criminal damage, GBH, and grievous bodily harm on people in certain circumstances.
Is it fair to ask, are you anti-police?
No, not anti-police, no. The police have the place in the world. Of course they do, to uphold law and order, but the point is when they're abusing their authority left, right and centre, as they clearly are every week, as they're trying to enforce laws that don't exist, these so-called guidelines, government wishes and advice, none of it's law. They're trying to make laws that don't exist and stop people from walking down the street. As I said before, part of our inalienable rights in this country and the constitution of this country is a right to free protest in this country. It's law. That is the law. And the police trying to tell you can't do peaceful protest, you've got to disperse and stuff, when the constitution protects our rights to legally protects our rights to peaceful protest. The police are breaking the law and getting away with it. The police that are breaking the law need arresting themselves and thrown in jail for breaking the law and harassing and illegally abusing their authority over people.
Well, obviously, with what's happened today, how are you intending to proceed now?
My intention is when I get home, I'm gonna save the video to a hard drive, so it can't get lost. My intention is to actually go on the police website, make an official complaint against South Yorkshire Police. I'll tell them that I've been harassed today for walking down the street minding my own business. An aggressive police officer, as you saw, I've got the video footage to prove it, was in my face shouting abuse at me. He accused me of shouting at him when I said to him, I'm deaf in one ear, I'm not shouting, so I'm just loud. It's the way I talk, so I'm deaf in one ear. He didn't want to hear that, he didn't care about that, you know what I mean, which is an actual disability, being deaf in one ear, to be honest, you know what I mean. It is an actual disability. Now the point is, he didn't want to know, and he's arguing and shouting in my face, me, a member of the public, who's walking down the street, taking exercise, minding my own business, around people that are walking through the town centre as well, minding my own business, not breaking any law, and it needs to stop. The government guidelines, wishes, advice, acts and statutes aren't laws. Simple as that.
I'm sure we'll be here again next week.
Is it alright to include all that footage?
Yeah, I'll send you the footage so you can include it in your video with pleasure. Because the more people that start seeing this footage of the police abusing their authority, and going against the actual law of this country, when they're supposed to uphold the law of this country, the better. Because people need to start making legal challenges, not just against the police officers in question that are attacking them or verbally abusing them or harassing them in the street for not breaking any laws, but the actual police forces themselves for trying to enforce laws that do not exist. They are breaking the law, and they need to be reminded, the police in this country police us by our consent, and as long as there's no harm or loss or any damage to anybody, and there's no actual criminal offence that's described as a criminal offence is being committed, or you're suspected of committing a criminal offence, the police do not have any authority to challenge you in the street for walking down the street, and they have no business doing it. It's an absolute disgrace.